And welcome to our third session today. We are very excited to have you here. This is the HACU National Internship Program. And my name is Jan Potsman. I'm the Assistant Director at the CSUN Career Center. And I want to launch our poll because we want to know, what do you know about HACU? What do you know about their internship program? So let's see if we can get everybody to answer this poll today. Okay, we need a few more people to answer the poll. You're doing well. Okay. So let's take a look at that. The majority don't know a lot or know anything about the HACU internship program. So that is good for us to know and good for our speaker to know. Our speaker today is Andres Berg. I don't want to say it wrong. Burgos? Yeah. No, Burgos?
Yeah, Burgos, yeah.
Okay, Burgos, just what I thought. He is a newly appointed, he has gone into a new position. He is the new Associate Director of the HACU National Internship Program. And we're thrilled to have him here today. He is a first-generation student and a naturalized citizen. Andres brings his personal experience along with his 4 years of nonprofit experience to support students attending HSIs via his work. HSIs are Hispanic serving institutions via his work at HACU. Andres is an alumnus of the University of California, Riverside, where he majored in political science and public policy. In his current position, Andres works to help ensure students have a successful and meaningful internship with HACU's federal partners. Take it away, Andres.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. Yeah, my name is Andres Burgos, the Associate Director of HNIP. It's a new position, so I apologize if I kind of fumble on the words sometimes. I have to remind myself. So I've been with HACU for about over a year, specifically as a student services manager, but I'm here to talk about the program in general. So HACU as an organization itself stands for the Hispanic Association of College Universities. What they do is support HSIs, like Jan mentioned, Hispanic serving institutions such as CSUN, get more funding. They decided around 31 years ago that there's more that we can do to support students that attend HSIs. And that's when we created the National Internship Program. And the National Internship Program itself focuses on helping students get paid federal internship opportunities. So federal agencies, the public sector. And if you look at the screen, on the top right and slightly on the bottom as well, bottom right, there's a list, there's a few names of federal agencies right there, and they're acronyms for most of them. One you'll probably notice and one you probably recognize is the CDC. You probably remember them during the pandemic where they're sending out a bunch of messages and giving out detailed reports on things as well. You can intern with them, such as well as the National Science Foundation, which is the NSF, the SEC, the Security Exchange Commissions, and USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture. These are only 4 out of 22 possible internship opportunities, agencies that you can do your internship at. And I'll be talking a little bit more on the details on that during the presentation, but I just want to make it clear that these are all paid internships. Every single position that we offer through HACU is a paid internship opportunity. Undergraduate students get paid $16.10 by the hour, and graduate students get paid $17.50. So we do have opportunities for undergraduate and graduate students. This is open to students who are pursuing a higher educational degree further than their bachelor's. So think of your JDs, think of your, your master's, an MD, even a doctorate. This is an internship opportunity for everyone. So we have fall, spring, and summer. So right now, obviously, we're focusing a lot on the summer internships. Like, all right, really want to get my foot out there. It's summer, I have more availability. I want to do an internship. And that's great because our summer applications are currently open. The dates for the summer is pretty straightforward. It starts early June and ends late August. That's around 10 weeks of your internship opportunity. And you're like, all right, maybe I'm kind of busy in the summer already. Maybe I saw another opportunity during internship week that I'm just like, I really want to do that one. HACU, maybe I can do it for the fall. Perfect. Because we do offer those fall and summer internships and spring internships. So for fall and spring, those are 15 weeks long. So it's slightly longer. Doesn't mean that you get any less experience during the summer, even though it's 10 weeks in the summer and 15 weeks for fall and spring. But maybe you apply for the summer and you're amazing at your internship. You do absolutely everything. You go above and beyond and you're adored by your team lead. And they're like, hey, you know what? Do you want to make your summer internship into a fall internship? Maybe make your fall internship to a spring internship. It happens. We have some students in our program that have been with us since their associate's degree, and now they're doing their master's. They're either, in the same position with the same federal agency because they absolutely fell in love with it, or they bounced around with other agencies, and now they're coming out with a huge resume, some even completing their bachelor's degree with already having around 4 different internships with federal agencies. During the summer, we're going to be offering a lot of in-person internships. We typically during fall and spring, we offer around 80% virtual and hybrid internships and 20% in person. But for the summer, since a lot of our federal partners assume that you have more availability, it's going to be, kind of different. So for the summer, it's around 80% in person, 20% virtual and hybrid. Even though I've been saying federal agency, you might be assuming, oh, great, federal agencies, Washington, D.C. We do offer internships in Washington, D.C. We also offer some in your local area. You're in your major city, Los Angeles. There's a lot of federal buildings around there, such as the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. You might not know what they do, but they help regulate banks on a federal level. Or even NASA. NASA has a headquarters in Pasadena, California, and they are looking for interns right now. But maybe you're like, you know what? No, I want that in-person experience in Washington, D.C. That's perfect. If you get a full-time internship that's going to be based in Washington, D.C., HACU will pay for your flight to and from D.C. You're not going to be stuck in Washington, D.C. We'll pay for you to go back home, as well as offered subsidized housing. So I grew up in the Valley. It's pretty expensive housing. But I promise you, D.C. housing is extremely expensive, especially for an intern pay. So we do offer that subsidized housing that comes with your room, furniture, pots and pans, Wi-Fi, utilities. All you have to worry about is your own food. You don't even have to have a car in DC. So as a native Californian myself, I'm going to keep on repeating that a lot because I love being from California. So as a native Californian myself, I know public transportation isn't that huge over there. But here in DC, it's everything. I've lived in DC for about 2 years. I have no issue at all not owning a car. The metro system works functionally. It actually even goes directly to a lot of these federal buildings, as well as walking is extremely common. And with that subsidized housing, we place you close enough that a lot of our interns enjoy walking to their internship site because they're walking near a bunch of national monuments, such as Capitol Hill, the Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial. A lot of our students walk by those to go to their internship sites. So it's an experience of a lifetime. All right, but maybe you're like, no, you know what? I have other responsibilities. Maybe I need to take care of my mom, my dad, or little sister, little brother, or I already have another part-time job. That's fine, apply. We have those virtual and hybrid positions. A lot of our virtual positions actually can be done asynchronously, which means that you can do it at your own time. So maybe you don't have the typical hours during, your normal full-time class schedule, maybe your part-time job to do a full-time internship. That's perfect. Those virtual asynchronous internship opportunities allows you to do that. And you get paid for it too. Maybe you really want that hybrid internship. You still want to go into an office. Perfect. We have those in your area. Like I mentioned, Los Angeles is a major city with a lot of federal agencies. So this is the opportunity for you to apply to even go in person. We offer full-time and part-time internships, which is an amazing opportunity for you once more, just because a lot of these federal agencies, they normally don't offer part-time internships. They only want full-time interns. And that doesn't work for everyone. So we have assured that we'll continue to have part-time internships for everyone with HACU's National Internship Program. Some other benefits include professional development seminars. We like to support you in and outside of the internship program. For any recent graduates, we have seminars in which we connect you with postgraduate study programs, such as the Fulbright program, in which you can go study internationally, or the Peace Corps, in which you can go and do service internationally as well, or the Ambassadors program. It's a lot of international opportunities. We also help you do federal resume writing workshops. If no one's tried to write a federal resume, it's very unique to other resumes and very annoying. So we make sure that you succeed in and outside of our internship program. Another amazing benefit as well is that HACU offers scholarships. When you're applying to a HACU scholarship, one of the things that they ask you is, are you affiliated or have been affiliated with any other HACU program? If you're an intern in our program, that means you can click that check mark and it gives you an extra bonus point towards getting a scholarship. Because once again, studying for your bachelor's or your master's isn't cheap. It's not affordable. So we want to make sure that it's as affordable as possible with these paid internships and scholarship opportunities as well. So next up, I'm going to show a video, and please let me know if you cannot hear the sound in the video. Sometimes it does lag a little bit. But this man on the screen is John Sanders. John Sanders is an HNIP liaison at the Security Exchange Commissions. And he's going to talk a little bit about what an intern can experience at the Security Exchange Commissions, as well as what the Security Exchange Commissions is.
I am John Sanders. I'm the program manager for the partnership that the SEC has with HACU. We're currently in our second semester of having interns, and it has been an amazing partnership. I'm continuously impressed with the incredible support that the staff from HACU provides, but then also truly the high quality interns that I've had the pleasure of interacting with. It's been so much that I've even given myself the unofficial title of ambassador of HACU and the internship program. So on the individual level, the experience for the interns is phenomenal. At the SEC, we truly look at interns that we receive as colleagues. They're assigned truly meaningful tasks that are built to stretch their abilities, but they also contribute directly to the SEC's mission. And our mission is protecting investors, maintaining fair and efficient markets, as well as facilitating capital formation, or typically that's referred to as helping companies grow. And we expect our interns to make meaningful contributions while they're here with us. We value your opinions and your perspectives. Recently, I became aware of a story where an intern said that this experience was not at all what he expected. And he said it in a very positive way, but it was walking into it thinking that they were just going to do very simple tasks or things that, we didn't want to do at the SEC, making copies or just filing some paperwork. And, that's what he kind of thought he was getting into. And then he was thrown right into the mix of really contributing and being a key member of our team. So it was a welcome experience. We're not looking for anybody to do little basic jobs that we don't want to do. We want to encourage and help you grow.
So there's a few key things that John Sanders says in the video that I want to highlight really quick. First one is that the work you're going to be doing as an intern within these federal agencies, not just the SEC, with others as well, is significant. I can give you some examples. So for the Security Exchange Commissions, we have interns that help investigate crypto scams. Another example with the SEC is that we had an intern help the SEC create their first newsletter, which was published nationwide. During the pandemic as well with the CDC, we had an intern that was helping do the research on the various vaccines that was coming their way. Last summer, we had an intern at USAID, which focuses on international development. They helped USAID allocate funds to Ukraine. Another example as well, I have a ton of them. I can keep on going on and on, but another student, they were interested in a national internship. Like the work they're going to be doing will affect things nationally or even internationally. But they really wanted to do something that would help their community. So they did their internship with the United States Department of Agriculture, specifically with their WIC program division, which helps with food insecurity. What he did is he helped create a strategic plan on how WIC can communicate better with Spanish-speaking communities. So he was able to talk and support a community that was meaningful to him. And this list goes on and on and on. And you might be assuming, all right, Andres, you're saying all these amazing things. Maybe this internship opportunity isn't for me. A lot of those students that I was telling you about, they had not even finished their bachelor's degree yet. So those weren't master's students. Those were students who were sophomores, juniors, seniors. This is an opportunity for you to grow professionally. Of course, all these things, it's difficult to do, but they're there to support you while you're doing your internship. They don't want students who have this long resume. Sometimes they do, but most of the students that come to our program have never had an internship before. And some of them have never even had any work experience in general. So this really is the internship opportunity for everyone. The second thing that John Sanders says was that this was their second session with us. This was recorded about a year ago, so they currently are around their fifth session, I believe, pushing up to their sixth session. And that's just to show that we're continuously growing. Maybe you go to our website, and I'll share the website towards the end of this information session. Maybe you go to our website, you look at our long list of federal partners, but you don't see someone that you recognize, or someone that you're not extremely interested in doing an internship with. Still submit your application. We're in constant communication with these federal agencies here in Washington, D.C. to get more internship opportunities for all of you. Some of them are like the Department of Justice, in which we are having conversations with them, not about starting the internship program with them, but to starting that conversation on how many they want from us, because they want interns. So send in your application. And maybe you are interested already. Maybe like I convinced you more than enough, and you're just like, all right, do I even qualify? I'm going to go down to this list. If you see something that you feel like would disqualify you, let me go through each one first, and then we can have a further conversation. You can ask a question about it towards the end of the information session, and I can answer them for you. But for the first bullet point, I just want to point out that this is open to everyone. There is no race or ethnicity requirement to participate in this program. None at all. This program was created to help students who've historically struggled to get a federal internship. So like I mentioned, I live in DC now, even though I grew up in the Valley. Most of Washington, DC is run on unpaid or underpaid interns. And a lot of the students, they have usually come from a background with a wealthy family, because they're the ones that can afford these opportunities. So we created this program to support any student who cannot financially support themselves to just come to DC for 10 weeks, 15 weeks, not getting any funding. So that's what we're here for. We're here to support students who have historically struggled to get these internships. I'm a first generation student. All my coworkers here in HNIP are first generation students as well. So we do tend to cater our program to students who, this is their first time being in a professional setting, but you don't have to be as well. We also have some students who this is their, they've done some lab research before, but now they want to bring it to the public sector, to the federal agencies. So this really is an internship opportunity for everyone. And to continue that phrase as well, this is for all majors. There is not a single major that we do not offer an internship opportunity for. We've had positions for theater students. We have positions for, right now I can think from the top of my head, we just got one earlier this morning, is for bioengineering. Such a wide range. You might assume federal agencies, political science, public policy, even business administration. No, this is for all majors. Each agency has a subdivision agency or a specific team focused on a specific project. The CDC, like I've been saying, like you've heard of them, right? Really pretty familiar during the pandemic. CDC might assume they only want biology students or epidemiology students, but the CDC, they have a communications department. They have an HR department. They have a business department. They have a contracting department. It goes such a wide range. United States Department of Agriculture doesn't focus on agriculture. We get, a few positions of agriculture for them, but a large majority of them are just, a wide range of majors. And this goes to the niches of majors as well. I've been told by USAID before, once again, agency that focuses on international development, they're like, hey, Andres, do you have any students who study the history of the Balkans? I do not know where the Balkans are, but I had a student who did, and they got that internship opportunity. Or in California, there's an office with US Fish and Wildlife in Ventura, California, so not that far from Northridge, where they're always looking for biology students to help them study a specific salamander migration pattern. Extremely specific, but there's those opportunities for students who apply that are in the area. So if you were to apply, you have a higher chance of getting that internship opportunity. Next up in their eligibility requirements is they have to be currently enrolled in a degree-seeking program. So if you're enrolled at CSUN, you qualify for this. And you have to at least complete 1 year of your undergraduate studies. So if you're currently in your second semester at CSUN, that means you can apply for the summer. Because by the time the summer rolls around, you would have completed your 1 year. If you're a transfer student, that means you completed your 1 year at your community college or past university. Maybe you're extremely studious. I was a pretty studious, nerdy student in high school. I took a bunch of AP classes, took some college classes on the side as well, and I came in with a sophomore standing. Sadly, if I were to apply my first year, I wouldn't have been eligible to be in this program. I would have to wait until I completed 1 academic year. So that means 2 semesters. So if you are currently a first year at CSUN, you can apply for the summer internships because you will have completed that 1 academic year by the time our summer session starts. And then there are limited positions for recent graduates. So by limited positions, it's about 100 positions. It's a lot. So it's only limited on the scale because we get over 500 positions each session, specifically in the summer. There's around 100 positions that might even specifically ask for recently graduated students. And once again, those are a variety of majors. So there isn't one specific major that they're looking for, even for recently graduated students. It's a variety of majors. And that's not a HACU requirement. That's a requirement from our federal agencies. So definitely just keep in mind that some of these eligibility things isn't because of HACU. It's because we have to respect our federal partners' decisions. As well as for recent graduates, a lot of positions that are for recent graduates, they're specifically created because they want to offer you a full-time job once you're done with your internship. Just keep that in mind. And then lastly is that most positions require U.S. citizenship status because you have to get a security clearance, because you're going to be managing a lot of sensitive information. So the key word in the statement is most. Most. We still offer positions who are legally authorized to work in the United States, such as permanent residents, DACA students, or international students who can get a student worker visa. And once again, that's not a requirement HACU created. That was a requirement that our federal partners created. So we do, like I said, we offer a lot of positions even for students who don't hold a U.S. citizenship status, but are eligible to work in the U.S. And that, once again, ranges all the way from education to biology, to zoology, political science. It's a wide range of opportunities. The application itself is fairly simple. First thing I want to note is the deadline. The deadline is March 31st, but that doesn't mean that you should apply on March 30th. So the way that this program works is that we work on a rolling basis, which means that right now, we have deadlines that are earlier than March 31st. We had deadlines that passed last week as well. So our federal partners, as much as I wish the federal government listened to our deadlines, they have their own internal deadlines. So they could have given us a position about 2 weeks ago and said, like, all right, we want this, we want applicants for this position in 5 days. Others have yet to submit us positions for their internship opportunities, while others probably aren't going to tell us until around May. So that's why we work on a rolling basis. The sooner you apply, the more opportunities you have. So when you're applying to this application, you're not uploading a resume. That's great if you have one, but it isn't an inherent skill that we require applicants to have. So what we're going to do instead is you can either copy paste what you have on our resume, or you can type in all your information. And we do that for 2 reasons. The first one, like I mentioned, it's not an inherent skill that they teach you, it's something you have to go and learn. I don't want you to, be deterred from applying to our program because you don't know how to write a resume yet, or you're still learning, or you want to update your resume, or you feel nervous submitting your resume. I don't want you to feel like that. So that's why we have it like this. It's a text box-based application. The second reason is because when you're applying to our program, you're technically not applying for a specific position. And that's nerve-wracking and confusing to a lot of students. I'll explain right now. So our application kind of functions like a Common App, in which you submit your information over to us, and we see if you're eligible for our database, we put you in our database, and whenever one of our federal partners asks for students that they want, they send us qualifications. They send us like, hey, we want a student who's eager to learn. Hey, we want a student who's taking, this specific lab class, a student who's studying biology, stuff like that, very specific to a student who's recently graduated. They come to us and they give those positions. And all those positions can only be found through HACU. Then we match you up. We get around 3 to 5 of the most qualified applicants, and we submit your application over for you to them. And then from there, they'll reach out to you to do an interview. And that's how you're selected with this program. So this allows you to get more than one internship offer if you're an amazing applicant. And once again, being an amazing applicant just means that you're willing to stand out, willing to learn, and put in the hard work. So when it comes to the application itself, like I've been mentioning, no need to upload a resume. You're going to type in your education. So you'll type in CSUN. If you're a transfer student, you'll put down where you transferred from. If you're a graduate student, you'll put down where you did your undergraduate studies. No need to put your high school at all. Just, higher education. Next up is the resume section, which is separate from work history. So in the resume section, you can put down any second languages, maybe Spanish, maybe Arabic. You can put that down in the resume section. You can also put down any coding languages, Maybe some of you are coders and you want to put down, coding languages. Maybe you're part of a sorority, a fraternity. Maybe you're part of an on-group organization on campus. Maybe you're part of an off-campus organization. Maybe you do a lot of volunteering. Maybe you got an award for something. Maybe you got a very prestigious scholarship. That's where you can put in the resume section. When it comes to the work history, just like it sounds, it's your work history, which includes any volunteering experience, as well as any work history. It does not have to be relevant to your major. A lot of students, like I mentioned prior, a lot of students who apply to this program have never done anything related to their major. Maybe, they've only done retail, normal customer service, a receptionist, a barista. Doesn't matter. All those type of students can still get an internship with us. Like I've mentioned, we've had students who have had no experience at all, and they've gotten an internship. And the key thing on how that happens is with the essay portion. And I know you'll be thinking, I'll write another essay. It's not really an essay. It's 500-word minimum. And you aren't docked for, only writing 500 words. And the question is super simple. The question is, why do you want to join HNIP? And that's so you can show off your personality. I've had students rhyme in the essay. I have seen students talk about being a first-generation student. I have seen students with the most monotone voice ever talk about research that they've done. And all those type of students have gotten an internship opportunity. With the essay section, that helps you get the interview. In an interview, you can show off your personality even more. And that's truly the final decider on whether or not you get an internship opportunity. Maybe you're not good at interviews. That's fine. It's, once again, not an inherent skill that people know. Maybe you're kind of more like, hey, I'm not really good at being outgoing. That's completely fine as well. Around 20% of our federal partners legally cannot interview you. So what they do instead is they get your application with all this information, including the essay. They block out your name, they block out your institution, and they go based off of everything else. So you don't even have to interview. They go based off of everything else and they give you an offer for an internship, which is an amazing opportunity. So if you don't have those interviewing skills, still submit your application and still get an internship. The next 3 things on the list, it's where a lot of students stop because you have to actually go and find these documents yourself. The first one is an enrollment verification. So enrollment verification is just a statement from your university that you can get at your student registrar's office, and it just states so-and-so is a student at CSUN. At the end of the semester, they'll still be a student, and their current expected graduation date is 2023 or 2024 or 2027, whatever. It's that simple. And then you can upload it, boom, you're done with that section. Next up is unofficial transcript. So unofficial. No need at all to, give us an official transcript. We don't need it. If you really want to upload your official transcript, go ahead. It does not give you any extra points. The unofficial transcript is so that you don't have to pay for an official transcript. You want to make sure that this is a free of cost application. Once again, open to everyone. We want to make sure that this is able to, you can apply and not have to worry about, any extra costs. If you are offered an internship, we will ask for the official transcript, but anything before that, we will not ask for your official transcript. And the last thing is a letter of recommendation. The letter of recommendation can either be, someone that knows your academic background, such as a dean, a professor, a teacher's assistant, a professor's assistant, or someone that knows your work ethic. So maybe a previous supervisor or volunteer coordinator. As long as it's not like your mom or your dad, cousin, brother, your best friend, your neighbor, you're good. We just want someone that can attest to your work ethic or your academic success. And then the last thing is 1 to 3 references. So 1 to 3 does not have to be any more than 3. And for that one reference, you can even put down the person who writes down your letter of recommendation. So this is just kind of like a federal agency requirement where they at least need 1. It does not make you any more competitive if you have more than 1. So don't stress out if you don't have more than 1. But of course, it never hurts to put down all 3. A lot of students want to know, like, hey, Andres, like, you look at the applications, you see who gets selected. What are some key things that you can help us out with? And I want to make sure I give you that information. So the first one is keep it generic, and also keep it with a lot of details. So it sounds kind of contradictory, but that just means that when we say keep it generic in the essay portion, try not to mention a federal agency. So for example, maybe, you really want to intern with the CDC. So you're like, hey, I want to intern with the CDC. My dream internship is the CDC. My dream job is the CDC, and it's all written all over your essay. So we submit your application over to the CDC, and they're reviewing it. And they're like, you know what? I don't think the student is the best for this internship opportunity, because it happens sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes you aren't going to be the best. It happens. But then we submit your application over to the FDA. And the FDA is reviewing your application. They're like, hey, you know what? This student's pretty good. This student is the best student that we've gotten for this position, because sometimes you are going to be the best applicant for a position. But then they notice your essay one more time. They're like, oh, wait, they really want to intern with the CDC. You know what? We're going to pass it along. We're not going to waste our time. This one was in person, so we got to make sure that the student has student housing with HACU. We're going to go with our second choice, because I've seen that happen before. So that's what we mean by keep it generic. Keep an open minds about it. A lot of these internship opportunities, they're extremely valuable, even if it's with an agency you might not automatically recognize. But I promise you, in your professional field, it will be recognizable. And by keeping it a load of details, it's fine to mention specific field of studies that you're interested in. Maybe you are that one student who's extremely focused on the history of the Balkans. Put that down, doesn't hurt at all. Maybe you're studying political science, and you're just like, you know what, I like political science. It's very broad, but I want to focus on DEI initiatives. So you'll put down, I'm really focused on DEI initiatives. Put that down. Maybe, you're like, hey, I'm studying biology. I'm studying biology, but I'm really into zoology, and they didn't offer it at my university. Put that down. It doesn't hurt to put extra details. And of course, don't undersell yourself. You never know what's going to be the major factor in which gives you the internship opportunity. I have seen sometimes, because our applications, we send it out through people all across the country, different experiences and different ages, different professions. And maybe, it's between you and someone else. You both have the similar qualifications, but you did Model United Nations on your campus, and the person reviewing your application also did Model United Nations when they were a student. And that's the deciding factor. So that's what we mean, don't undersell yourself. Put down as much information as you can. And of course, apply early. So even though the deadline is March 31st, we currently have around 500 applicants. And we have a lot of positions coming our way. A lot of them. So you're not late. You're still on time. You can still apply and still get those multiple internship offers. And then apply again. And by apply again, it doesn't mean apply for the same session. It means to apply for more than one session when you can. So our fall applications currently aren't opening, but they should be opening up around next week. When we say apply again, it's because not every session has the same amount of opportunities. We get different internship opportunities every session. So let's say these are just, imaginary numbers. These aren't actual numbers that I'm about to say. But let's say maybe for the summer, we get around 80 positions for computer science, and we get around 200 applicants that are studying computer science. It's going to be difficult. But maybe, for fall, we get around 100 positions for computer science, and we only get 80 computer science students applying. A lot easier. Maybe for those positions, around half of them are virtual, but the other half is in person. Maybe the applicants, around half of them as well, they're only strictly virtual, and the other half, they want to do an in-person one, but not in Washington, D.C., only in their area, which makes it a lot easier. There's so many differing factors going into this that you never know which session is going to be an easier session for you. So that's when we say, if you really want a high chance of getting an internship, you have to apply early and apply for more than one session. And then lastly, of course, feel free to connect with us. We want to connect with you. Please feel free to follow our Instagram, our Facebook, and Twitter. Of course, I'm paid to talk about this program. I love this program, and you might be thinking, well, like Andres is biased. He's paid by HACU to talk about the National Internship Program. Feel free to go on our Instagram and feel free to message any students that are tagged on our students' highlight posts. They are not paid to talk good about the program. They're paid to do their internship. That is it. Feel free to ask them about their experience and the benefits of going through the program themselves. They're more than happy to talk to you about it. And of course, write down our email. I'm going to be answering a few questions in just a bit, but if you think of any other questions later on down the line, feel free to send us an email. Maybe you're having some issues on your application. You have our email to reach out to us. As well as feel free to write down our number. So our number for the Washington, D.C. office is 202-467-0893. As you can already tell, I absolutely love talking. So please feel free to reach out to us, give us a call, and I'm more than happy to talk to you. But of course, keep in mind that I'm on East Coast hours. You guys are on Pacific hours. So I only work from 9 to 5 East Coast hours. But definitely feel free to reach out to us. And of course, the most important thing out of everything in this presentation is the link for the application. So the link is on the screen, the very last one, www.hacu.net/HNIP. At that link, you can find the application. You can find reminders of the due date, program start dates, list of federal partners, available positions. So we do have a page with available positions, but like I mentioned, sometimes we have a turnaround of 5 days, so we don't have enough time to post them. We automatically just, submit any people that we already have in our system. So definitely have your application in early, but in available positions page, you can get some expectations of, what you can get. But besides that, I'm gonna leave on the screen, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to type it in the chat and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. And I'll start from the very top. I know there was a few questions asking like, how do we apply? The application can be found at www.hacu.net/HNIP. Are we able to choose where you go? It really is kind of like you apply and we give you those offers to you. This is just to make it fair, keep an open mind. This allows you to get an internship opportunity. Like I said, you can probably put 3 letters together and name a federal agency. So this is just a way to ensure that you're not, rejecting any positions or overlooking any positions that you might not know what the federal agency does, but completely aligns with your professional careers.
I'd just like to add there, Andres, that you notice their website it's .net. So sometimes people they'll put in hacu.com or hacu.edu. It's actually hacu.net. So when you're doing a search, you will find it there.
Yeah, definitely put .net. I'm not sure what hacu.com sends you to, but it's definitely not us. I see that Guadalupe put a question, as you mentioned, to apply again. If you're recently graduated student, could you apply for the fall session? So yeah, so if it's up to 1 year. So if you're graduating this spring 2023 semester, you can apply all the way up until our summer 2024 session. And then once again, for students who have recently graduated, a lot of these opportunities are created specifically because the federal agencies want to hire you once you're done with your internship. As a recent CSUN graduate too, I still have to provide enrollment verification. If you recently graduated, all the proof for the enrollment verification that you'll have to provide is your certificate of graduation. So your graduation certificate, feel free to scan it and send in your application. Does anyone have any other questions? What happens if you graduate in spring 2022? Yes, you can still definitely apply. So you can apply all the way up until 1 year later. So you're available to apply for summer 2020 Oh, so yeah, so if you graduate summer 2020, spring 2022, you can apply up to the summer 2023 session. And that's the final session you can apply to. So definitely make sure to send your application in, because this will be the final opportunity for you to apply into this program. Yes, you do not have to be Hispanic at all to participate in this internship program. This program was created to help students who've historically struggled to get an internship opportunity, and definitely apply if you're an international student. We have opportunities for you. Is the main location in Washington, D.C., or are there options in Los Angeles? Can you describe a hybrid role? Yeah, so a lot of our positions this summer will be in Washington, D.C., in which we'll provide, a free flight to D.C. and subsidized housing. But we do have internships in Los Angeles and in the surrounding area. Like I mentioned, we have internships with NASA in Los Angeles, with the Security Exchange Commissions, which regulate the stock market on a federal level, or with the OCC, which regulates large banks on the federal level. So we do have opportunities in the LA area. If you're a biology student or a zoology student, we also have an internship over there in California, in Ventura, actually, with US Fish and Wildlife. So there's a lot of opportunities. Maybe you're like, I don't want to do an in-person one. We also have a lot of virtual opportunities. When it comes to a hybrid position, it's just going into the office every now and then, or maybe it's field work in which you can do all your lab research at home or at your university campus. But when you have to go do field work, you'll go do that field work. Maybe you're more on the business or political science side of thing, where you have to sit at a computer. They'll just be going into the office for any major meetings that they want you to be in. The hybrid format varies from role to role, but it is, as stated, hybrid, in which you can go into the office every now and then. For the enrollment verification, what if we are about to graduate and won't have a physical degree for a while? So if you're about to graduate, you can still get an enrollment verification for right now. It just states that your expected graduation date will be, I think semester system finishes in May, so May 2023. And it'll just state that you currently are a student. Of course, you'll be applying before you graduate, so you will still have access to that enrollment verification. Can teaching credential students apply for HACU internship program? Let me think for 1 second. From memory, teaching credential, you can either be still enrolled at the university, but if you're only going for a certificate, so a certification, maybe you're like, I'm attending CSUN, but I'm getting a certification in program management, then you're not eligible to apply. But if you are going for your certification and still taking classes to complete your degree, then you can apply. For the referral, what if we don't have work experience yet? Feel free to ask a professor, a TA. A lot of them, when I was a student, I know kind of had a template already, and they'll type in your name, and they would just kind of reuse it. That's completely fine. Does not have to be someone that can attest to your work experience. It can also be someone that can attest to your academic experience as well. Is there a section on the application where you state your preference on the kinds of internships such as DC, LA, or hybrid? No, there isn't one in the application. If you were to be, if we're looking at our application, you were like, all right, this student seems to be qualifying for this position that's based in Washington, DC, we will give you a call. As well as if you're in CSUN, I know going from Northridge all the way to Los Angeles can take a while because of traffic. We'll give you a call beforehand and let you know. We also notify you when we submit your application as well. So you are given a heads up about those opportunities. Are there any other questions? What chances we have to continue working in the same job after internship ends? It's difficult to state. There's a lot of factors going into it. And I'm more than happy to go over a little bit of it just because I know a lot of you are probably interested in that. I have friends, as you can tell from my very young face, I have a lot of friends who've completed their masters and they've told me the job market isn't the best. So you're probably really interested in getting that opportunity for full-time work after. So the chances, it varies. There's a lot of different factors going into it. The biggest factor, of course, is how good you are at the internship, if you mesh well with their team. Like I said, specifically with the United States Department of Agriculture, their main purpose is to get students to intern with them, to offer them a full-time job. Others, they create a budget within their own team to offer you a full-time job. With USAID, that focuses on international development, their focus is also to get you as an intern. And then once you're done with your internship, it's either to integrate you directly with the team that you were interning with, or to offer you an exclusive fellowship that the USAID has, which is extremely competitive, to become a subcontractor with them, which pays pretty well. So there isn't a good percentage to give just because there's so many varying factors, but the biggest factor is definitely how much effort you put into the internship and how much you can show off your work ethic during your internship.
Okay, do we have any other questions burning questions that you're just waiting to ask? I knew one would come up.
Yes, DACA recipients are eligible to apply. We have positions specifically for DACA students as well, in which they want to use your experience to support their team. So there's a lot of different opportunities specifically for DACA students, international students, permanent residents, where they state like, hey, we prefer someone who has this experience to include it into our team kind of portfolio, since a lot of the tasks they'll be doing may require it in some form. Is there a link to the website where we can see each internship that would best match with our major? There is. If you go to the link on the screen in the very bottom and you scroll down to available positions, you'll be able to view some of the positions. We try our best to keep it up to date, but like I mentioned, sometimes they give us quick turnarounds of around 5 days. I've even seen some where they give us around 2 days, so we don't have the opportunity to post all the positions. But from the current positions, you can get a general idea of what you'll get, as well as some positions we legally can't post them, because once again, some of these positions, you have to have a high level security clearance to kind of get more details on what it will entail. So when they do offer you the position, obviously they go over like what are the major details and knowledge that you'll need to know to support the team. But it isn't until you get your security clearance fully where you get like extreme details on what it is. Some of those are the SEC or the Natural Science Foundation. It's a lot of those bigger ones in which you do need a security clearance to get that information. But once again, so far, all the students that I've seen who have gone through the process, they have absolutely loved their internship because they're doing significant work for the federal agency that they'll be utilizing even after they're done with their internship. Are there any other questions?
One last time, we'll ask. Well, lots of thank yous on the screen I can see. So Andres, thank you so much for your presentation today. This presentation was live streamed and will be posted on the CSUN Career Center YouTube channel. So if you'd like to watch it again, feel free to do so. Thank you all. Oh, did we launch the second post? The second question? Forgot that part. Sorry. Okay, it looks like we've got a group of students that have learned something from your presentation. So thank you so much, Andres. And we look forward to always having you back again. And students, feel free to contact him. That's what he's there for.